All right, so we'll start with the Cordoba Coco guitar. This is not exactly a replica of the movie guitar. It's what Cordoba offered as a version, and they have several of these. This is the mini. Uh, it is classical guitar, nylon, and that's. And I got this screen grab from. I just did a screenshot grab off their website. Okay, so let's do an R minus 90 here, so this thing is standing up. Okay, I'm going to try to kind of center it right here. We're just going to trace this. A little bit of uh, angle right here for the headstock so that we get to compensate for that. So we'll probably break down this tutorial in excuse me, 3 parts: body, and then the next one will be for the neck, headstock, and the bridge, and then part 3 will be the hardware and then strings. Okay, um, and maybe fourth part to UV texture it and texture. All right, and this is going to be done in real time, so again, super slow. It's really for beginners. And if you don't like the speed, you can always increase the playback if you already understand most of the tools. So I go through all the tools in details, or at least I try to kind of explain them as I go along. Okay. So, but we have videos that will cover all those. Watch those so that when you watch multiple parts like this, you're familiar with the tools already. So let's get rid of the cube. And this is the way I would, there's multiple ways to model this, but I'm always thinking what is probably the simplest, excuse me, simplest way I can teach people to model this one. And yeah, like I said, there's probably better ways to do this, but this is what I think, what I could explain to you guys easily. Okay, so I always start with a shape that's already available, which is a cylinder right there. And by default, when you get a cylinder, it comes with 32 faces or vertices, and then that's usually is fine. Okay, so what we want to do with this is RX90, so that it's rotated facing this way. RX along the x-axis 90 degrees. Let me also turn on this one right here so you can see it right there for the keyboard shortcuts that I'm using. I'm going to go X-ray mode so I could see it. So cylinder is at center of the world. I don't want to move the cylinder to conform to the photo because that's already positioned in the center of the world. So I will manipulate the image so that it's the same as the object. So I'm trying to get that hole to be the size of the cylinder right there. So there's a little bit of perspective in this photo, so it's not exactly flat. But and I'm just doing G for grab while the picture is selected, which is called an empty right here in the outliner, and then S to scale. All right, so just kind of, you can do this ahead of time if you want to, if you know how to use Photoshop or any image editing program. Let's see. And right there. Maybe. All right. Again, it's not going to be perfect because, again, the picture is not really flat, but I tend to model this side of the photo. So, all right. So that's kind of one way to do it. Another way is to actually, let me make it so that it's on this circle right here. Okay, so I will, and then we do an inset face to do the inside. So that's fine right there. Okay. All right. So, and we won't need other parts of the cylinder right here. So we only need this front face for now. Okay. So I'll do Control I to invert my selection, press X, delete faces. I only have this. Okay. And we're only going to need half of this later on because we're going to mirror it. All right. So here we go. So we're at the front. Okay. To get your viewport, if you don't have a numpad, hit the tilde, then you can select. Okay. And important, you're in the front viewport on this one, flat. Okay. So I'm in edit mode with this selected. I'm going to press I for inset faces, then drag the mouse until I get the hole right there. Okay, and then from here I will expand the outside by going to the vertex mode right here. Okay, and I'm going to be using my transform move tool here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to move the center point right there, kind of guess where that thing is on top. Okay, excuse me, just got to clear my mouse here. All right, and then where that might land right there, because we're going to delete all this other half. Then this one as well, probably around there. Okay, then right here I'm going to go number 3 and then just kind of select. And there's faster ways to select if you switch to the paint select, but I think we'll be just fine over that one. Press X and then faces. Now we got this one part. We're going to add a modifier, mirror, and probably clipping is on. All right. And whatever we do on this side, the other one just simply follows. So this one, I'm just going to go to the edge right there and then just kind of spread it. Okay. So, all right. So just kind of put that where the neck is, and then just kind of distribute it as naturally as it wants to go outward with the angle of those points. Okay, again, this is just one way of doing it. All right, because we will add, even though it looks kind of a little polygonal right here, we will use a modifier called Subdivision Surface that will add geometry and will definitely smooth this. Okay. All right, for this one though, I'm just going to do half right here. I'm not going to go all the way down because I think it will be a real stretch. I mean, it can be done. It's just that there's a lot of geometry right here that's we're going to need. So I don't want it too polygonal right there, so we're just doing the half, and then we can definitely do some modifications later that will we can kind of simplify the model a bit. All right, so I think right there. Okay, so I'm going to grab all these points right here. I want them flat, so that would be the z-axis. So I'm going to press S to scale, z-axis, and then 0. That will just force all those things to be flat so that when we flip it over to do the other side, it'll be perfect. They aligned. Okay, so I'm just going to grab that in there. Kind of taking a look where we could possibly position those without here. And maybe move that just out a bit. All right, so the thing is, we kept the circle shape perfect, and then we just kind of grab those shape right there. Now I'm going to select the face mode, which is number 3 right there. Select this circle and then cut this hole. Faces right there. And if we go to our solid mode, there it is. Almost done. Okay. All right, so now we need this piece at the bottom. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this one. So this is the original cylinder. So Shift D, duplicated it, and then there it is. I right click to cancel the movement. All right, I want to flip it over, so I'm going to press R to rotate it, and then you could do 180, 180, so it flips it like so. Okay, and then here I'm going to just go to edit mode. Okay, and well, we could have scaled it also, but this is fine right here. So I'm going to apply. I'm in object mode here with the bottom, right, the duplicate. I'm going to apply the mirror. Okay, I'm going to lower this like so. All right, I'm going to select the this side here, faces that we don't need. So I can go to my circle select tool. So hold down this one from box to circle. Then it's like painting selection. We only need half. Delete faces. We're back to this one right here. Bring out the mirror modifier again, and we're back. All right, so X-ray mode right here, and then point mode, and we're back to moving points. All right, there you go. Again, like I said, there's plenty of ways to do this properly. This is just my way of doing it to be able to teach it a lot simpler. Okay, so I'm matching that line G, Z, so you're only going up and down. Very important when you move things like this, you control it. You just want one axis. You don't want to freely kind of move it like so, and then, you know, like this one. Yeah, so I'm going to turn on clipping right there. Just do one axis, G, Z, so it only goes kind of up and down. Remember, we're in the front viewport, okay? And we can snap all this later on, so, okay? So G, Z, yeah, I just want to make sure it, you know, eyeballing it right now, right there, okay? And then here, it's mostly just going to the x-axis, so you can use the x-axis right here. So it's, again, remember, it's a natural flow of this thing going outside. So you can go just x-axis, or you can just go freely move it. It doesn't matter at this point. As long as, you know, it's a natural angle. You don't want it kind of like that, or, you know. All right. Okay, is that good enough? Maybe. All right. What about this hole right here? Yeah, we can patch that. And we could probably eliminate all this later on. The thing is, sometimes when you have, we're doing it in the front orthographic, so everything is flat, right? Because there's no Y movement here. There is no in and out. And the problem is sometimes this thing go by a hair going back like that, then it's no longer flat, and then your geometry would show up as there's an artifact. Okay, so I'm going to select all that and then press F as in Frank. Okay, it fills up the face right there, so as you can see here, other than the cut right here, you can't tell that there's a circle in there. Okay, that's gone. We could actually delete all this geometry here and then just simply fuse it. I don't think we'll even see anything, but we'll leave it like that. It's acted geometry, but it's not too bad. Okay, all right, so now we gotta combine the two, right? So the top part, remember, it's still mirrored. Okay, this thing is still mirrored. Let's turn off our empty. Okay, so let's apply the mirror on that one so it becomes solid, one object. This one as well. When we select the two together, okay, when we select the two together like so, Control J. All right, so now it doesn't mean that the points right here are actually fused. They're not. So what we need to do is select those only, okay, straight line, like so. Then we can do M for merge, okay, and then by distance. So when we do that, it has this distance of basically what is the distance of attraction right here. All right, it doesn't work at 0.001. I'm going to click it one more time right here so you can see they snap. If you do this too much, you can see all the other parts are starting. The attraction level is too much. Okay, so whatever it is, 0.01, when I click it one more time, it did the trick, and then they're combined. Okay, so now when I select just one, like so, it doesn't separate it anymore. We now have this plane done. Okay, so there it is. There is a side photo. I do have the guitar, and I can kind of guess the thickness on this one. All right, so let's do select all this edges going all the way around. All right, there it is. So we go to the side viewport. All right, and we're going to do extrude. Press E. Okay, I'm going to right click to cancel the movement. It's still extruded. All right, I press E, so this thing is still extruded. So I can just grab this one here and then give it thickness. I'm going to go all the way to the blue line right here, and I think that might be too thin, just a hair or a little bit. I think something like that. Okay, again, we're just kind of eyeballing that one. All right, there's that, and then now we need to fill in the back. We just press F as in Frank. Okay. All right, so now let's take a look. Looks really clean. Okay. Got a hole in there, and then let's save this one before we cry. When we crash, Coco guitar. Save. Okay. All right, there it is. And then of course, this thing will probably work as a low poly guitar at this point, but we want to give it that Subdivision Surface modifier to keep it kind of smooth. All right, so we're gonna go here, Subdivision and the modifier panel with this thing selected in object mode. Subdivision Surface, there it is, and as you can see, it kind of collapsed because it's trying to 2 by 2. There's not enough geometry, right? So first thing right here at the back, I'm going to go Control 1. Okay, 1 on the numpad gives you front. When you do Control, you get the opposite. All right, so there it is. We're going to inset polygon right here, kind of give it like a border. Okay, like an inlay. Okay, the guitar does have an inlay, but this is for hardware. Kind of the thickness, because they do wrap around this wood, right? So we're kind of simulating that. So I'm going to press I, drag my mouse going in. All right, right there. Okay, so by doing that, we reinforce one more line going all the way across, right? There it is. And we need another one. Press I again, kind of confirm that's okay, so it doesn't pull too much of that geometry. Okay, same thing for the front. Let's select all this faces right here. So I'm going to return back to my select circle, click one first so that it deselects. Oh, I need to be in face mode. Okay, and then it's going to select this kind of like so, like painting, including that. Okay, so go back to my select box. All right, so let's do wireframe mode so we can kind of copy the same level of inset poly that we did. So this is the first one. Okay, and what's kind of cool, it also did a circle right here, so it's reinforcing both, and then another one right there. Okay. Okay, I only did that one at a time so you get 2 doses of the example, but my recommendation when you do that is do the front and the back at the same time, then you don't have to match any of those. All right, the guitar would have kind of like a rigid line right here. It's not beveled like so. All right, so we do need to add, if I'm on the side viewport right here, I do need to add a loop cut. Control R is the keyboard shortcut in Blender. So if I do Control R on a horizontal line, I get a vertical cut. If I position this cursor on a vertical line, I get a horizontal cut. So we want it right here. So I do want two lines going in there and over there. I want them equal distance. So I can, again, measure that if I wanted to, or eyeball it, or I'm going to do it like the long, lazy way. I'm going to put one right here. If I scroll my mouse, it creates a bunch, but it's equal distance. Okay? If it's equal distance like that, then I know the side lines right there. Okay, and then ask you where you want to move it. I'm going to right click to cancel the movement. So these are equal now. So what I need to do here is select Alt click, Shift Alt click all this one. I know that it's taking some time right here, but you can guarantee those two sides are the same. Not recommended because this takes a while to kind of select, but if you're like me, you just need to worry about how, what's the distance on those, right? So press X and do not delete dissolve edges. If you delete edge, it leaves any contact, any of those crossings, a point, a vertex. All right, there it is. All right, so now it is quite sharp, but it's not smooth beveled like this. So there's two ways to do this, all right? Let's first select this object, apply a scale, transform right there so that it resets our, this gives us like 45-degree bevel guaranteed, right? So what we can do is go to edge mode and select those edges right there. And if you go to your item right here, your sidebar, press N. Okay, there's a mean crease right here. And what you can do, if you crank this up, what it does, it makes those edges kind of sharp. Okay? So it gives it this, maybe not all the way to 1. Okay? Or you can also right click them and then mark sharp. Okay? Once you mark sharp, basically it's the same thing as that one, then you can go to your edge and then you can edge the crease right there, okay? But dragging that would be kind of be the same, and it gives you this kind of sharper look, but not totally too sharp. There's like a beveling to it, okay? There's that, and then yeah, we're done with the body. Okay, we just need to give it thickness. Okay, so what about here? Okay, what about this one? All this geometry. Can we clean it like the one in the back? Yeah, you can. Let's actually try it. Okay, we don't want to see artifact, right? But you lose your quads here. But then again, you don't have any quad because the circle right here. So let's try that. Circle select the poly, not the edge. All right, make sure you got everything you need, and then press X, delete the face. Let me save it before I commit to that. Okay, let me save it. Okay, and then delete the face. All right, there's this awesome acoustic amplifier on in front of it. Okay, or put a metal in there and make it a resonator. All right, so I'm going to alt click it, going all the way around, press F as in face or Frank. It fills it up. Can we tell there's a cut? I don't think we can. So maybe we got away with that. Less polygon and okay. However, I did save it in case this will be an issue later, like we're seeing like an ugly artifact. So what I'll do, I'm gonna save as on this one, put a plus on this, so that I can go back to the original Coco guitar. If I regretted that decision, I can then extract that face with a circle right here, copy it, bring it to the most updated version of the guitar, and then since I'm not going to move this guitar, it will line itself perfectly here, and I can just combine the two together by hitting Control J and then selecting all the points that are supposed to be merged, and I can go merge by distance and it will all snap. It'll go back to before we did this. Okay, all right, right here we're almost done. Let me switch it to where we have we could see the hole right there a little bit. All right, this one's better. Okay, at an angle. Let's give it thickness. So we have subdivision surface right here. I'm going to give it a solidify, which gives it thickness. Right there, there's thickness. All right, we want it even thickness and 0.02 maybe. All right, we don't want that. Okay, maybe that worked. A little too soft right here. This is actually a little sharp, so maybe I do a Control R, bring it kind of close to that. All right, when you put solidify, you cannot access the polygon on that thickness. It's a modifier and it's live. Until you apply it, you won't be able to, right? So that's just an example. I'll do it right here, okay? So when I'm in edit mode, you can see only the surface I can manipulate. I cannot go to that thickness right there. But if I apply it, then you have access to the poly. Okay, so I can go, let's turn off our subdivision for now. Right there, you see it. So if I wanted that kind of sharp, then I can add a control loop right there, or I can just do a mark sharp. Okay, so I'm going to click undo. I don't want to apply the solidify in case, right? And I just, let's say on this one, I select the whole thing, mean crease to 1. That'll give us that kind of sharper. Okay, so the body is done. We're going to go to part 2 for the neck.